It's the biggest crisis in Boeing's 103-year history. On Monday, after two fatal crashes involving its 737 MAX jetliner, Boeing fired its CEO, Dennis Muilenburg, for breaching the public's trust. The board of directors decided that a change in leadership was necessary to restore confidence in the company moving forward, as it works to repair relationships with regulators, customers, and all other stakeholders. 189 people died when a Lion Air 737 MAX crashed in Indonesia in October 2018. Less than 6 months later, another 157 people were killed when an Ethiopian Airlines jet, also a 737 MAX, crashed in the north of that country. The U.S. government forced Boeing to ground the jet until problems with both the operating software and with pilot training could be fixed.
The reclusive strongman Kim Jong-un meeting with his top military officials as the U.S. braces for the Christmas gift threat promised by North Korea. U.S. officials tracking North Korea's actions hour by hour, ready for a test of a long-range missile capable of reaching the U.S.
Today we have very high levels of readiness, and the motto for the U.S. forces in Korea is fight tonight.
Tonight, new evidence that test is imminent.
Commercial satellite photos are showing improvements to a facility associated in the past with ballistic missiles, including a temporary structure that could accommodate a launcher arm.
Recent diplomatic talks have faltered, and earlier this month, Kim Jong-un mounted a white horse, climbing the country's tallest mountain, signaling he was making an important decision.
Seoul, Tokyo, and Beijing have reaffirmed their commitment to promoting talks between North Korea and the U.S. on the nuclear issue. In a joint press briefing earlier today, President Moon said the three countries will continue to work together to advance the peace process.
South Korea, Japan, and China will continue their joint efforts to get North Korea and the U.S. to resume their talks as part of achieving peace on the Korean Peninsula. This is according to President Moon Jae-in at a joint press conference Tuesday with the Prime Minister of Japan and China's number 2 after the trilateral summit in Cheongju. These three parties crucial to the peace process met as North Korea escalates tensions with its missile tests and threats against the U.S. And the year-end deadline set by the North for Washington to make concessions is nearly up.
Now, Japan's foreign ministry says Russia has released 24 Japanese fishermen and their vessels from detainment. They were held last week after Russian inspectors said they had exceeded their catch limit of octopuses. Japanese public broadcaster NHK reported the fishermen were fined about $100,000 before their release on Tuesday. The limit was set by a 1988 agreement between the two countries. It sets quotas for the catches of 4 disputed islands, which Russia calls the Kurils, while Japan refers to them as its northern territory.
Well, we want to bring you to England now, where one of the most high-profile soccer managers Jose Mourinho says the sport is in need of help. Now, this is after an alleged racist slur that forced yesterday's Premier League game between his team, the Tottenham Hotspur, and Chelsea to be paused. In fact, the government is also wading in, threatening to take action if soccer authorities don't step up efforts to tackle racism.
Well, Michael, this was meant to be a classic London soccer derby, a big ticket event, Tottenham Hotspur versus Chelsea, but play was stopped in the second half after Chelsea defender Antonio Rudiger complained of hearing racist chants from the crowd. And shortly after,
facing that, if you're turning his right.
Prince Charles talking to people in Fishlake 6 weeks after hundreds of homes were flooded when the River Don overflowed.
No, it's all right. We were just going to get you a pint just before you got here, so you might have needed one back time.
I do.
You do?
He met some of the emergency workers who helped people out of their flooded houses and those who've been working on the ongoing cleanup. Among them, local farmers who pressed their claim that a lack of river maintenance is to blame. They told me they hope a word in the royal ear will help. Royals rarely get to see Britain as it really is, so the council swept Fishlake to within an inch of its life just before he arrived.